Hi everyone, my name is Nick and I'm here at Wedgewood Gardens with the assistant manager, Nicole Marusco.
Hi.
And we're going to go over some of the plants that they're going to have available at their booth this year for the Philadelphia Flower Show 2020. So Nicole, do you just want to tell us quickly about Wedgewood Gardens and your presence at the show?
So Wedgewood Gardens is a local greenhouse and garden center in Glen Mills, Pennsylvania. We've been family operated since we've opened. And we've been down at the flower show for a little over 20 years, probably about 25 years.
Awesome.
And we do sell plants. We have our main booth, and we also have a booth that just specializes in mini plants. So we have a large selection, and we're always trying to curate and grow our selection for our customer base and also for the people that visit the show. And this year we will have a small selection of rare, kind of more odd house plants that we've been slowly cultivating. So make sure you check out for that when you're there.
Awesome, really cool. Well, I'm really excited to check it out and see what you guys have growing.
Yeah.
We're here in the main Propagation House at Wedgewood Gardens, and they have a bunch going on that's going to be here at the flower show, just like all of these Tradescantias right here. Some really lovely varieties are spiderworts. Here I believe is the quadricolor variety. It's got some really nice white and pink color to it. Here's another variety right here. I'm actually not too sure of this one, but it's got some really lovely variegation to it. We work our way down a little bit. Actually, there's some Gynura back there, or Purple Passion, as well as some Streptocarpella, which is a type of Gesneriad. You can see a few of these little flowers. It's a trailing Gesneriad. It's a lot of fun to grow. Then some standard Tradescantia zebrina right here. Some more of these variegated varieties. A more purple variety. This is more heavy on the purple and the green foliage. If we move back a little bit more, oh, this is really exciting up here. These are actually lemons. These are variegated lemons. These are called Eureka lemons, or the pink lemon is what they're commonly referred to as. That is a really nice find, and they have some really nice pink new growth coming on them, as you can see. If we pan up, they have some really beautiful hanging baskets of rickrack cactus and Tradescantia zebrina, which will be available at the flower show, as well as these smaller sizes of rickrack cactus right here. They actually propagate these in-house, and they have a mother plant that they've been propagating these for a very long time, as you can see the abundance that they have. If we move back just a little bit, there is a little sea of Pileggi glauca right here, a really beautiful silver and blue leafed plant with some tiny red stems. Some really beautiful spider plants right here, and some more Tradescantias over here that we didn't see before. This is the Tradescantia fluminensis tricolor, and just the Tradescantia fluminensis variegata right here without that pink coloration. Then a very similar plant in the same family. This is a Calicia repens, and this is the pink jewel variety. And there's just some plain green ones in the mix as well. If we move up here, there's some more rickracks and some really lovely Monstera adansonii. Look how huge these leaves are. These will be for sale as well at the show. And then if we move up past even more rickracks, they take their rickrack very seriously here at Wedgewood Gardens. We have some really beautiful philodendron black cardinal, which is a really lovely philodendron with the more red-black foliage than your standard ones. A couple more of the Eureka lemons right here, or the variegated lemons. And then if we go up, there's some really lovely hanging baskets of those Tradescantias. Over here is some really lush pink Tradescantias. And then if we move down, there's some philodendron little phils, a small leafed philodendron. This is a rather new one on the market. And then some chenille plants. Look at these flowers, they're so fuzzy. Some really beautiful foliage as well. It reminds me more of like a trailing plectranthus. And then here's another really lovely one right here. This is a type of alocasia. This is the alocasia dark star. Look how stunning this one is. It's absolutely beautiful. Cotton candy fern right here. This is a really lush, low-lying fern. Look how fine that is. I could imagine this being a fern that really appreciates high humidity and regular waterings. Then if we move back a little bit, they have their succulent selection with a bunch of different types of aloes, crassulas right here, some haworthias, a few more, even the puntias. This is a really cool one back here. These are variegated crown of thorns. You don't see those very often. Those are fantastic with the pink stems. A few more haworthia and aloe. Some more of those chenille plants back here in Tradescantia. And all the way down here we have some hops, a relative to hemp. This is much more suitable for your outdoor garden, but this is something that Wedgewood Gardens will be having at the show. Now, they're only going to have a few of these, so I'm going to give you a heads up, but they are going to have these lovely hanging baskets of Dischidia rucifolia right here. They're looking lovely. You can see the few that they have right here, and they will be brought to the show, as well as these lovely hanging baskets of Syndapsis pictus argyrius, and even some Hoya carnosa and some different types of Senecio, or strings of things we like to call it in the trade. We're checking out the minis here in the greenhouse, and there is some really lovely choices right here. We have some Ceropegia woodii right here, the standard string of hearts, as well as the variegated string of hearts right here, a really nice variety of it. And the string of daggers, or the string of spades they call it right here. So they got the whole trio of string of hearts, and some even more strings back here, Peperomia prostrata. It's a really nice one. Actually, if we move back even further, there's some more of those Tradescantias in smaller pots, which is really nice. Peperomia tetragona right there. They also call that the stilt peperomia. And then there's some more ferns here, a few more like terrarium species as well, some little philodendron moonlights that look fantastic. There's a really nice one back in that tray of goldfish. There's actually a type of lipstick plant, the Aeschylanthus longicalis, or longicalis, the black pagoda lipstick plant. Moving on, we have some more just standard terrarium species like these little alocasias right here, some crassulas and some rabbit's foot ferns or davalias. We move back even more, some carnivorous plants, and they have these adorable little pitcher plants that have pitchers on them. Look at this. How adorable is that? These prefer really high humidity, bright light, and they prefer distilled water. They don't like a lot of additives in the water, in the tap water that is. Some Venus flytraps and an assortment of other carnivorous plants if you want to come get close up on this. Even some sundews, look at those. These are really fun ones to grow in the home. Once again, do require some high humidity and specialty water, or distilled water that is. We have our succulent and cacti selection back here in the minis. Some Haworthias and Echeverias. Moving over, some types of cactus. A bunch of little mammillarias. Look at these little fuzzy guys, those are so fun. And these little ones back here are actually about to flower. Some Crassula campfire, Senecio, Stapeliiformis, or the pickle plant. A lot of really fun succulents and cacti in this selection. We're back here in the Fern and Begonia section here at Wedgewood Gardens, and they have some really beautiful varieties. This one is really standing out to me right here. This is a Shadow King Lava Red Begonia, and these are all Rex Begonias that we're looking at back here. Also, there's this beautiful, I think this is another type of the Shadow King. This is Cherry Mint. And then there's some more varieties back here. These are the Bewitched varieties. There's another kind of red and black one right here that's really stunning if you want to get in close up here. This is a red and black Bewitched, and then right here is a really lovely one that has some lovely maroon undersides. This one is the wintergreen Bewitched. So these are really gorgeous ones to look out for. Then if we're moving down to the fern section, we have some really lovely fine-leafed maidenhair ferns right here. And then this is a fern that I am absolutely crushing on. I actually haven't heard of this one before, but it's stunning. This one is called the silver brake fern. So this is one I might be adding to my collection very soon. It's very gorgeous. I used to consider myself a fern killer. They are really easy to kill if you neglect them. They do require a little bit more care than some other plants. But speaking of which, there's a fern right back here, this holly fern. This is one that's a little bit more thicker. It's a little hardier, so I would imagine that this one would perform a little bit better in the home than, say, these maidenhair ferns right here, which are beautiful, but if you forget about them, they will fall apart and crisp up. If we move back a little bit, they have some Osaka bird's nest ferns, which is a more wavy type of asplenium or bird's nest fern. Standard maidenhair ferns, looking absolutely lush. More bird's nest and some rabbit's foot ferns back here. These are looking really good. This is a much more easier fern to grow. It's a footed fern, and I find footed ferns to be a little bit easier to grow than, say, these Boston ferns right here, which are absolutely beautiful, but they do just require a little bit more care, similar to the maidenhair ferns. And then if we move down here, there is a really lovely one, actually. This is a silver staghorn fern. This is a little bit of a harder to find type of staghorn fern or platycerium. These would perform great if you mounted these up on your wall on a piece of wood or bark. And then also, you're going to want to get up close to see these ones. This is a giant staghorn, they're calling it here. This has some really beautiful shields, and you can see how the fronds or the the leaves, the foliage starts to come in as it gets a little bit more mature. So this is a really nice one. And then one more back here that I'm really fond of is this blue star fern right here, the Phlebodium aureum. And as these get a little bit more mature, they get a little bit more structure in their leaves. And this is a fern in particular with this brighter blue color that can withstand a little bit more direct sun than the other ones I'm showing you guys here today. We're over here checking out their African violet selection, and they have a ton of African violets to choose from. There's some plain green ones, as you'll see right here, but if we move over a little bit more, we have a few different variegated varieties right here. You can see that really lovely slight white variegation on the edge of the leaf. And if we move actually back here, there's a very heavily variegated one that's actually in bloom. It's really beautiful. You guys can get a really good look at that right now. If we move over a little bit, there's a darker variegated one. They have some really nice selections going on here. Of course, they're not exactly in bloom yet, but they will be in bloom, which is very exciting. And then over here, there's even just some more of these darker variegated varieties, and they have some bits of pink variegation instead of the white, which is really beautiful. We're over here checking out the Calathea, or the prayer plant section that they have here at Wedgewood. And there are some really beautiful Calathea ornatas. They are really coming along. They're lush and full. If we move down a little bit, there is some Calathea lancifolia. You can see the lovely new leaves coming in right here. The way they just introduce themselves with those bright purple backs is just lovely. And then there's one more back here. This is, I believe, a type of Calathea roseopicta, or the medallion Calathea, a really beautiful cultivar that you don't see that often here. We're back here checking out some more of their specialty items, and they have some Senecio right here, like this Senecio peregrinus. This is the string of dolphins. This is a rather new one that we're seeing. Look how full some of these are. They're really long. They're taking over this flat with their vines. Another type of Senecio right here. This is Senecio rallianus, or the string of pearls, a much more common one. This is a peperomia right here. This is a Peperomia ferrirae. It's a much more succulent variety of peperomia, and you can see a little bit of a window into the inside of the leaf. It's more of a taco-shaped peperomia, so they're the more succulent, drought-tolerant peperomias that you would find. This is a really fun peperomia that you don't see that often anymore. It used to be a little bit more common back in the day. This is a Peperomia orba, and this one is the pixie variety, and it's got this really lovely ghostly green foliage with a little bit of dark green veination. It will tell you when it needs water. This one will lose its succulence. It's a very felty peperomia. This right here is a Sansevieria cylindrica bonkel, or the starfish Sansevieria, and you can see some of these are quite fertile. They have a lot of babies going on. Another peperomia right here. This is Peperomia obtusifolia variegata with the cream edges. These are very full. They look very good. And then this right here is one of my favorite hybrids of peperomia. This is a rather new one on the market. This is Peperomia frost. This is a peperomia that can take a much darker environment than, say, the Peperomia obtusifolia variegata can. And then finally, there's some Pilea peperomioides back here, looking really full. Look how full these trays are. We have a few more Senecios right here. This is Senecio articulatus. This is actually one of the parents of the string of dolphins that I was showing you guys just prior. And then another Senecio right here, the blue chalk stick Senecio. You can see this one's actually about to flower. Senecios get a really lovely, like, pom-pom-esque flower to them. And then a sea of Pilea peperomioides right here. There's a bunch of babies going on, you can see. We're out here in the main showroom at Wedgewood Gardens, checking out what they have out here, and they of course have some more of this lovely rickrat cactus, as well as these super full Peperomia hopes. Look how full these are. I'm not used to seeing Peperomia hopes this robust. Some Athana capensis, or the ruby necklace, a really fun new succulent on the market. And then they also have their line of wedge oddities, they call it here. It's Wedgewood's line of more rare plants, and they're more one-off plants, so you're not going to see necessarily everything here, but I believe they are going to have their line of wedge oddities at the show. So do keep an eye out for more of their one-off plants that they have for sale there. If we move over a little bit more, they have some more of those black cardinal philodendrons and some Hoya. This is Hoya Crimson Princess with some really lovely new growth coming in, as well as some Hoya carnosa compacta, or the Hindu rope, that also has some lovely growth coming in. If we move over a little bit more, there's some more of that Peperomia prostrata and the string of dolphins, a couple more of those strings of hearts, and the variegated crown of thorns. This is a really good find. That's, I think, a really fun new plant for 2020, as well as these Paleonia repens right here, also a really fun, underrated houseplant on the market. A few more plants available on the main showroom are these Peperomia caparatas, or these ripple peperomias. Look how beautiful this Sansevieria is right here. I think this is some type of bird's nest Sansevieria. If If we move over, there's another type of peperomia tetragona, really full pots. I'm not used to seeing them this full. I'm used to seeing these much smaller, so they're doing a really good job here. Calathea vittata, a fun new calathea on the market, as well as this Pileggi cateri, really fun plant, aluminum plant. This is a really easy plant to grow. It's fantastic for terrariums too. I also want to point out this Calathea Maui Queen hiding back here, really beautiful calathea with that purple undersides as well. A really lovely bromeliad right here. I think this is some type of acmea. Also just some more pothos and some ficus repens back here, just your standard creeping fig. We're going to finish off today's video in the main showroom, checking out some of these larger plants that they have for sale, like this humongous Pileggi peperomioides in a 6-inch pot. I am not used to seeing these plants this large with so many babies. And a real feast for the eyes is this humongous Peperomia alba vittata rana verde. This is a rather new peperomia on the market, so I'm not used to seeing this one too often in general, let alone in a giant pot. Look how huge this plant is, and look at that lovely new growth coming in right there. And one more plant I just want to point out is this really lovely Philodendron Prince of Orange with that really incredible new growth. Look, check out that color. Wedgewood Gardens has a really incredible selection of plants here at the store, but as you can also see, they have a really incredible selection of plants that they're going to have at the Philadelphia Flower Show at their booth this year, 2020. So I highly recommend coming to either check out the store here, or if you're going to be at the Philadelphia Flower Show, definitely check out their booth at the show. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on this little field trip out to Wedgewood Gardens. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at Philly Foliage, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day.